What up? What do we got? We're gonna meet with David Chung on Friday. He wants to list his property, East Ridge, and he wants to 1031 it. So it's a paid off house. So we gotta we could even run some numbers on that right now. That way we could, show up on Friday with a nice property or whatever.
I know Jamal had a property he had a question on yesterday he wanted to go over. I think he should be hopping on soon.
Cool. All right. And then I know this is a helpline call too, right? So I think Mark hit me up. He said he needed some help, so he could jump on and you could remind him. Cool. Claudia, Adrian, you guys got anything? Should I just go right into it? All right.
I
Let's
don't have
look.
anything.
I was looking for one of our clients who bought this property 3 years ago and it's still sitting, or 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, and it's still sitting vacant. So um I need to talk to him to see what he's gonna do with this.
He
Mm.
still has it vacant?
Still vacant. Here you go, Claudia. Go claim your house.
I was gonna say I have a sis. She can use the house.
Let me see. Okay, so I don't know if anyone else's MLS is like messed up. Is anyone else's Claudia, Adrian? Can you log on to your MLS and just because mine just keeps kicking me out and all kind of stuff.
Um, yeah. Do you need me to log in? Mine works. Mine's
Well, just
working.
yeah, just let me know that if you're as long as yours is working, then okay. Because all morning I've been having trouble with it. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's look at my saved search, and I will go here. I will go new matches, open. So it looks like we're getting more listings. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. I'm gonna hit this right. I like hitting list date because I just want the newest ones first, as opposed to the oldest ones with just like hitting coming back on the market or whatever. And 47th Street. So this is a manufactured home in the hood for 140. That sounds kind of cheap, right? I think the map is wrong. Um, 19102, a manufactured home. That sounds cheap. Am I tripping or is that cheap?
What is the price?
On 47th Street, it's a three bedroom, two bath for 100 and some thousand.
It might
Hmm.
be a 55 plus home. If so, that may be closer in line with the value, but even then that's a little cheap for a three bedroom.
That could
Yeah,
be for Blair.
1,000 square feet.
And then the
And
space rent is probably crazy.
land lease. Let me see. Space rent. Oh, here we go. Yep, almost 1,500 bucks a month. So usually on this call, we just skip right over mobile homes, but this is not bad. And Raul, if you could just man the chat. Um, you see, park requires buyer to show income 3 times. So this is, hmm, yeah. I mean, we do have a client, right? We just got to find out the address because the address is off right here. So let me search the address here and see where it's at on the map. But Leisureland. It has a good rating, 4.1, not bad. And so we're off of the 94. This is, yeah, this isn't bad. Look, it's in this little pocket right here, Claudia. Um, and so
Yeah.
basically, 94
And that's
freeway,
kind of where he
Euclid.
likes it.
Yeah,
He
that's
likes
exactly where he's looking. Shoot, 120,000, that's a good deal.
yeah.
And he could afford the space rent, 1,500 bucks. So what are you gonna do, Claudia? What's your next step? I
Send it
want to
over.
I want to test you. Because last time we had that Aplex, you didn't send it to nobody. I had to send it 3 days later. And now we're waiting for an acceptance, hopefully.
I
Um,
didn't know he can go that high, first of all.
what do you mean?
And
Who?
it's Saul.
Yeah, of
I don't,
course.
he's not even, okay.
Okay. So, by the way, just to give you everyone an update, that we on the last call we had, or maybe the one before that, we found an Aplex on here that looked like a good deal, and then we sent it to a client. So we have a $1.7 million offer out, waiting to be accepted, all from this call because we found a good deal. So it's a really good reason why, we do, like, this is actual practice. Like, we're not just doing this just to learn. We're doing this so we could learn and make some money. So let's get after it.
And if you
All
guys
right.
have an address you want Voltaire to go over, please throw it in the chat so we can get into it.
Yeah. And if you have a question too, we could handle the questions like after the 12:30 mark, basically. First 30 minutes we'll focus on deals, and then second 30 we could go ahead and look at um questions, helpline type of questions. So this one I'm looking at, the only reason why I was going through it, because usually I don't, this is like 30th and Island. That's decent. That's a decent little pocket. Um, Meaning overall okay location, but like, once you get into, start driving down the street, it might not be decent, but it's like a newer build. That's why I was looking at it, because newer build, 20 years old, 760,000, 514. So I think this is like a decent buy for someone's first home, um, close to downtown, but it's not a deal. Next one, Stream View. This is a 4 bedroom and 750,000. Mm, it's not a deal. I'm looking at this number 672. 672 is high to me, so it's not like, a great deal. And it's right on the corner. I don't really like that pocket anyways in Stream View. I just don't like the way the properties sit. Um, the next one, Saltillo. This is in Canto, 750-ish. Again, 600 bucks a square foot. I don't like it. Looks like it's remodeled-ish some years back. I don't like the paint. So, anyways, not a deal. I was just being critical. Let me keep going. In Cano, 567 a square foot, 625, built in 1980. This is, um,
Underpriced.
it seems like it, like a 625, and for like a good looking house like this, like curb appeal looks good. By the way, um, when it comes to curb appeal, it goes a long way in my eyes. Like, but once we look at it closer, it looks like, there's some deferred maintenance. They haven't painted the place in a long time. But like the structure, 1980s, not bad. Um, there's a lot of exterior. There's a clothesline. I haven't seen one of those in a minute. Oh, what's going on here? Why they have different photos? Is this like virtually altered? So they're saying, okay, if you come in here and flip it. Oh, this is a new thing, right? They're just flipping properties without flipping them. This is crazy. Yeah, but I guess it's giving them just vision, right, on what to do. So okay, so this is a living room, and then this is the living room staged. They might as well just change out the carpets. I don't know, and remove the popcorn if they're gonna do all that. It's like, yeah, might as well, you know what I'm saying? Um, Look, they just cleaned it up basically. It's like you're gonna go full force, do it full force. All right. So anyway, so it's a fixer. I like this one right here where she just right there in the entire photo. I like that old school. Um, yeah, so it's a fixer. It's like, no, why would you buy this? Can you guys see my calculator?
Yeah.
Okay, so ARV, so after repair value, so it's probably worth 750 fixed up, remodeled, right? And then all we do is times 0.70. This is like a safe number you could buy this one at and flip it. Or you could do, if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, do times 0.75. 575. So you could buy it up to like 562 and maybe make a profit, depending on how much. It looks like it needs new windows. Doesn't look like the roof needs to be done. So, but you need to do like the exterior. So yeah. So anyways, this is a flip opportunity for somebody at the right price. Um, Townhome, mm, looks good. Looks really nice. Let me look at the location, 92114 Creekside Circle, 689. Nah, that's just, that's maybe what it's worth. So not a deal. The next one is the 2 units over by San Diego State. People like San Diego State because they can rent out the rooms and the bedrooms or the beds. Basically, they could have like 2, 3 students per bed and charge, I don't know how much, 1,000 per student or something. So it's a nice pocket, definitely. Looks like they split it up into 2 units. Has a pool, everything that you probably don't want as a landlord, right? So you don't get sued, kids hurting themselves. But 2 million, this isn't my specialty. This is someone like could say, oh my gosh, there's a total of 10 bedrooms right by San Diego State. We're gonna rent out each bedroom for $2,000 or $3,000. So that's, $20,000, $30,000 a month of income. But that's a business, that's a business in itself. So, anyways, I'm not an expert here, and off the top of my head, I can't remember anyone else right now that is an investor that I could send that to and say, hey, I found you a deal. But that's what your brain should always be looking for is like, okay, let me find a deal. Okay, is this a flip or is this digitally altered? Well, the exterior looks like crap. They flipped a unit inside of like a crappy building. This is more so just so you guys kind of get an idea of maybe what not to do. I mean, I don't know. This is like a tough little pocket. The building itself, like they don't maintain it. So it might be tough to resell this one. It is a big unit, 914 square feet, but it's a risk. They had to buy it for cheap. What do you guys think they bought it for before I click in? I think they bought it for two 220, 210. What
320. I say they
320?
got it in the threes.
290.
290. Okay. Let's see.
200.
200. All right. Let's see what they got it for. Oh, okay. They bought it a long time ago. I was about to say, like, sheesh, they bought it for 70K in 2009. So they've owned it for a while. They probably just rented it out forever and then they're flipping their own property. Um, so okay, cool. So it's not risky because they rather just sell it fixed up than sell it looking crappy. So either way, they're making money. Selma Place. This is Emerald Hills. Emerald Hills, what is the first black neighborhood in San Diego as far as this is a really nice pocket over here, right? 3 acres, sits atop of the hills. All these properties over here have really nice views to Coronado and all that. So let's see what they got. It's a fully remodeled um, views like crazy. And bro, if you can let people in, you good? Good. All right.
Yeah, it
Like
takes a
this
little
is,
while
oh,
here
okay,
to.
got it. Cool, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so they have everything brand new, like a really nice house, top of the hill, 3 acres, like no neighbors. Like this is crazy, right? The only bad part, just the zip code is just, you know, it's still in the hood. Um, and looks like they're dropping the price. Um, yeah, this is for someone who has some money and wants to kind of, this is what they teach you like in appraisal schools, right? Where it's like um economic obsolescence, right? Where it's the best property in the neighborhood. So it's like it's over the top, right? Because there's no comps for this, most likely. All the properties in this area don't have 3 acres and aren't sitting on top. So you got to figure that out. All right, not a deal. Flickr Street, 92114, 400,000. So this is definitely underpriced. Like at 399. Oh my gosh, it's missing part of the roof and part of the back, and but there's a flip right next door. There's another remodel property here. So let's see what's going on here. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Someone buys it, they could just go in there and clean it up. Let's see what's going on with this one. Sheesh. I bought a property like this last year. Let me see. I never saw the finished product, but let's see what they got over here. So they've been on the market for 2 weeks, subject to cancellation of current escrow. So they're just canceling escrow. They're coming back on the market. Whenever I see a property like this, I just want to jump on and look at the tax records and see what's going on. Um, okay, so if it's off of 61st and 69th and Imperial, so that's like the hood. So okay, so it's in the hood. They bought it many years ago for 215, and then they took out some loans, 100, 200. So they took out $200,000 last year. I wonder, and they took it from a private lender. Okay, so they took out, um, and they did it twice. The first time they took out 100K. This guy loaned them that money, and then like 2 months later, a month later, they needed another 100,000. So I don't know. Are they in trouble? Do they gotta pay this guy his money back? I don't know. But oh, look at that's funny. Look at my uncle used to own this one back in 2000. So let's see. Let's see what it looked like. Looked
Now
like
you
he,
get to call him and tell him he messed up. Should have kept it.
yeah, for reals. Look at so he it looks like this is a mortgage history. Let's look at the sales history. So yeah, it looks like he bought it for in 2000 for 89,500, and then he flipped it for 137. Back then to flip a house, it probably cost you like 10 grand, to remodel the entire place and all that. So he made his little profit. He flipped over 1,000 homes um in his career. Hold on, let me just take a little photo of that. And like Raul said, I'll be like, hey, could have been rich. I'm just playing. Let me see. Let me send that to him. Um, anyhow, let me send this real quick before I forget. And cool. Um, so anyhow, this guy's been borrowing money, hard money, and it's been on the market. So this is definitely a deal at this price, I think, right? Because how much can you flip this for? It's in the hood. So I would say, what's the ARV on this after repair value? Let's run some numbers.
Conservatively, I'd say right around 550.
Fixed up. Okay, so that's
Hmm.
your number fixed up. 550. What else? What's the ARV? Remodeled, two bedroom, one bath.
600.
600, yeah.
600. Okay. Is that the number we're using? Okay. So we're gonna do 600,000 times 0.70. That's 420. So 399 sounds good. So let's find out. Let me make a call. By the way, this is another good sign, right? This guy's in LA. So he, usually outside agents don't know the market too well, maybe underprice it or whatever, right? So let's find out. Let me give him a call on 997-1552.
Thank you for calling the office of Fabian Garcia. Please leave your name, cell phone number, calling and responsible for the address of the property, and I will make contact as soon as possible. Again, this is Fabian Garcia. Thank you for calling.
Fabian, hello, this is Voltaire Lepe, real estate agent, calling you in regards to 569 Flickr. Give me a call at your convenience. Thank you. Bye. Um, so just kind of, again, this is a helpline call, so just kind of going over his voicemail. He didn't mention the name of his company. I don't think he mentioned he's a realtor. So you want to have like a professional voicemail. which, by the way, that was good. Better than most realtors, his voicemail. Um, but there's still a couple things missing, okay? So you got to go check your voicemail, make sure that it's professional, says your full name, says your company, and that you're a realtor. Um, with that being said, he's in LA. He mentioned something about a postcard, so he might have got this listing off a postcard. Who knows? Let me shoot him a text before I forget. So I always call, voicemail, and a text. Fabian, please call me about 569 Flicker Street in San Diego. Period. This is Voltaire Lepe, real estate agent. Cool. All right, I sent that out. I'm good. Oh, see, it keeps happening to me. So this is, let me see, it kicked me out or something. Let me go to the last one. All right. Sorry. MLS has been acting weird for me all morning. Kicked me out. All right, let's go look at the last one. Number 11. And it was this one. 92115 El Cerritos. This is interesting. They started at 1 million and now they're at 799. So this is a price reduction as of yesterday. So they're at 950 and they dropped it to 799. So a huge price reduction. Let's see what happens. Back on market. Copy of buyer's inspection is attached under MLS docs along with showing instructions and guidelines. Court order sale subject to court approval and potential overbid. Please use the standard RPA. This is not a probate sale. Close of escrow shall occur 10 to 14 days or as soon as reasonable court approval. The seller shall seek court approval upon receipt of buyer's full contingency removal. This seller is a court order petition referee. Okay, so a referee selling this property. Mm, Let me look at the locations. Right by college. San Diego State is right there. Right, San Diego State University right there. It's up right off of Callwood. So this is a nice neighborhood. It says it's a little bit over a quarter acre, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,800 square feet. So this is like, this could be a deal. Let me look at the photos real quick. Looks like there's some solar. Nice little pocket tucked in a cul-de-sac. I mean, this is seems like so far a good property. Looks like it's original, but it has new windows. It has views. I can't tell if the windows they're newer. They're okay. Yeah, some of them are newer. And it's just a bunch of clutter. Okay, so we have a good idea of what's going on. Looks like does it sit on a canyon? So it sits on a canyon. It looks like it doesn't have a backyard. Mm, unless this is part of it, but it looks like maybe that's the neighbor. Yeah, so it sits on a canyon. All right. So now let's follow the instructions. Let's go into the document tab. It says so showing guidelines, showing instructions. February 24th today, 10 a.m. to 12. We already missed it. Tomorrow, 12 to 2. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing for a buyer? Let's get your guys' opinion.
I saw your text, so she wants to list it. Good thing,
Okay, why?
because if you missed it today like we did, we could go tomorrow or Friday.
Okay, got it. What are some of your other thoughts? Is this a good thing or a bad thing for buyers?
I don't like it. As
No?
increased chance for buyers to just keep running into each other, kind of creating an auction effect. If I'm showing my buyer, I want the property alone, nobody there. So just preference, I get.
Okay, cool. Any other final thoughts before I share mine? Okay, so go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah, I think it looks um like a bidding war, right? Like because
Mm,
there might be a whole bunch of people there anticipation and all that. So
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Now, so those are all right, by the way, everything that you guys just said. The way I look at it is this gives me or my buyers a better chance. Why? Because like these are like these 2 hours right here, those are like working hours, you know what I'm saying? So that means that a lot of regular buyers are going to be out of the picture because they're at work. They're not going to be able to attend. So anytime that you shorten up like the timelines that people could actually see it, it's the more opportunity for the people who can or have time to see it, you know? So I think this will shorten up the number of people that could actually go out there and see it. So that's less competition in my mind, right? This Friday one, 3 to 5, there's gonna be some people that get off of work a little bit early and go look at it, so then they get to see it. But I think as a buyer, I think it gives me hope. All right. It says the buyer must view the property before submitting an offer. Um, And by the way, they just dropped the price yesterday, and they put these timelines. So not a lot of people are gonna, react to it that quickly. Close of escrow should be as soon as reasonably, blah blah blah. So I'm just reading to see if there's anything. I mean, it's an as is sale. Okay, I get it. Um, so that's cool. Let's look at the home inspection. I never dealt with this guy, Mark Pollard. Um, Let me look for the red stuff, the important stuff. Major concern. Um, Let me see here. How many pages is this thing? 84. Okay. Bend pipe. Okay, so that's nothing crazy. I want to go look for the like foundation real quick. Um, Here we go. Let me see. Trip hazard, nothing. Mm, 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 mm. Let me look for this. Loose railing. Okay, that's something. Nothing crazy. That's easy. Foundation. Okay, cool. There's some cracks that are diagonal. You never want to see diagonal cracks. And it looks like this is what I want to look at. It looks like it's off center. You see that? So it is moving a little bit. This is fine right here. This is off center. So um I don't know if this is pointing at some cracks or what was this pointing at, but this is a diagonal crack. Um I'm looking at it. It looks like they have like all these cinder blocks look good. Um, I don't know if they have like the right little clasps. I don't see nothing major yet. Uh, okay, let me go back here. There's some cracks there, some bulging there. Nothing scary so far. Okay, there's some crack right here on the foundation wall. Let me zoom in real quick. Okay, nothing crazy. So it looks overall like decent so far. Mm, okay. I'm just looking for the red. That way, if take a buyer, I could tell them, hey, like this is the major things wrong with it. That's kind of why I'm doing this. That's not a big deal. Plumber could fix that easily. This is old as heck. That needs to be all redone. So, okay, so it needs new electrical for sure. Um, okay. Zinsco. So this is Zinsco. So anytime you see a Zinsco, it needs to be replaced. Sylvania. So yeah, so this whole thing needs to go. It's hard to get insurance otherwise. Mm, okay, what else is this? Missing smoke detector. Easy. Okay. Firewall. So firewall is missing, and then there's a crack right there, so that needs to be done. Easy. That's it. Okay. So yeah, I would say that this property is definitely worth looking at. I mean, if it gets bid up, then obviously that's no bueno, but how much is this property worth? Anybody have an idea?
I would say like a 1.1.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was gonna say 1,050,000.
Okay, cool. Let's get a little accurate, a little bit more accurate. Sounds about right. Let me see. So I'm checking everything top to bottom. So I go top to bottom, and it's 1840 square feet. So I'm gonna do like 1,500 and 2,200 square feet, somewhere in that range. 6 months, 7 deals. Let's see what these close for. 1.5 and 1.15. So 1.5 was a nice Talmadge property, which is a little bit different location, and it's really nice. Holy crap. Yeah, they did a good job. Nice pool. Uh, I I don't really like the flooring or the backsplash, but someone did. Let me see. 1.55, 877 bucks a square foot. Pool, the whole 9 yards. It has a nicer, way nicer yard. This one sold for 1,150,000. It's larger. Flip, remodel. Um, Lorraine 1.25. And some of these are just gonna have better lots. This one has views, nicer curb appeal for sure. So it's hard to compete against stuff like this. This one's like 1.6. Looks like they're flipping that one. Um, this one's on the market, hasn't sold. $1 million. Looks clean. I mean, decent. It's not a remodel. Nice backyard. This one, like they did a minimal cleanup. TLC. Is this an ADU? Could be. Well, this is a good little size right here. 1 million to 1,125,000. This one's 1.1, a little bit larger. Okay, looks clean, like a nice remodel. So yeah, I would say, yeah, 1,050,000 fixed up, right? So let's just run the numbers real quick. 1,050,000 times 0.70, that's 735. So the price would have to be like 735 for it to like really make sense. So 799, that's the starting point, obviously, but I think it's 735 purchase price. So send that one to your clients. Um, okay, the next thing we're looking at is let me look at this triplex real quick. Before you guys jumped in the call, I was telling Claudia that we're meeting with a client that's trading their property, and they want to buy like a nice triplex or fourplex, and they have equity to trade into. Okay, so first thing I noticed is my buddy, he mentored me in the apartment game. He taught me how to run scenarios for apartments, super experienced broker. So my first thought is whatever price he has on it is is pretty close to value, because he knows what he's doing. And if you look at his marketing packet, I mean, it's super clean. He's meticulous with his numbers. Um, So Mission Hill, so anyways, going back to my first thought is he knows how to price them, so it's probably not a deal, if that makes sense. He doesn't make mistakes. Our whole goal here is to find mistakes. Does that make sense? And I don't think he's making any mistakes, so it's probably worth somewhere whatever he has it listed at.
Just a
Um,
heads up, Jamal did add a address.
Cool. Yeah, let's look at it. So Claudia, it's I guess you got to find a fourplex or a triplex for Saturday. How much money is that property that we're gonna list in East Lake?
Um, I have to look at it.
It was probably like, I don't know, 900K maybe, I'm assuming. So
Yeah, I
we're gonna
think
have
it
to
was.
we're gonna have to find a property that makes sense where there's $900,000 for trading, and he's gonna buy a fourplex instead of owning a house in East Lake, you know. Okay. All right. So Jamal has a question. Property tax action. Oh yeah, property tax auction. Let's work on that. Somebody asked
Yeah,
me about
that
that this morning.
and also another address on 3655 44th Street.
Cool. Yeah. And somebody asked me about the tax auction, and I need to get them some information on it because they're asking, and we all know kind of how that works, you know. Well, we could talk about it at least if you guys don't know. Let me see. So this property, I always like just throwing like the address on here on the top. That way I can see like all the history. So it looks like it was on the market last year and then they withdrew it. So last year they're asking 820, 53 days on the market. It didn't sell. It's 2 units, looks like fully permitted detached duplex and 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and in the back is a 1-1. So the reason why I even go into the history, I just want to see if it's changed. Okay. So now, same thing. It's the only thing that's changed is the price, 779. It used to be 820. Um, and it looks like it's a 2 bedroom and a 1 bedroom. And then sometimes, Jamal, I go into like the old one to see if it's always been 2 units, and it has. It's always been 2 units. So that's good news. And I like to do that just to make sure that it's permitted. Does that make sense? All right. Now, what's your question about this one specifically?
I have a client that's looking to do a 1031 exchange,
Uh-huh.
and I think this could work. So we're selling his condo for 820,000. Go buy this one, and I ran the numbers yesterday. I just want to make sure that because the GRM was 13, so
Uh-huh.
which pretty high, but I don't know for University City if that's equivalent. And then also, I was thinking of doing an ADU on the back unit on top. So I don't know if that's even a conversation
Got it. Okay.
because a triplex in University City is like around 1.35, 1.3.
So this is City Heights.
Yes, City Heights.
Yeah,
Sorry.
City Heights. Yeah. Um, okay, so let's look at these. Um, let me let this person in. Okay. All right. So I would say needs a little bit of work. What's the equity position from the property that your clients are selling? How much equity are they going to trade into? Like after closing costs and paying off the mortgage and all that?
Like 750 probably.
Oh, okay. So they don't have a mortgage.
No, they don't.
And they're selling it for how much?
820. We just can offer for 812, I think.
Cool. So typically when you do, so this for everyone to kind of get the idea, when you do a 1031 exchange, you're trading one property and you have to trade into something that's the same price or more, right?
But of the
And
equity.
no, no,
Of
no,
the
of the
of
purchase
the
price,
net,
sales price, sales price.
is it the sales price or is it the net?
Yeah. Yeah, sales price. So if you sell your condo for 812, you want to buy something for 812 or higher. 1031 exchange. That's like that's like uh the textbook 1031 exchange, where it's like you trade one property for another, same value or more. Um, and then you don't have to worry about taxes or nothing like that. Okay. So the loan doesn't matter on the 1031 exchange. Like it just comes down to value and value and value. Now, with that being said, you're selling it for 812, so you want to buy something 812 or more. If you buy this one for 779, that's fine, but there you just got to talk to the accountant to figure out, how much boot or tax, that isn't traded into. So they might owe some money, small, I don't know. So I would say we start there, right? What, yeah, did you have a question about that?
Um, well, I spoke to the 1031 exchange or
Uh-huh.
exchange resources. Um, they were telling me that it's of the actual net,
Hmm.
but I might be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he might be wrong. He might, or maybe he's explained something different. So,
Okay, yeah,
so basically, when you trade, you're trading
upwards,
uh,
right? The same
upwards,
equivalent or
same
upwards?
or upwards.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the reason why, or one of the reasons why they did a 1031 exchange like the government did is because they want um people to every time a property sells, a bunch of people get paid. Escrow officers, title reps, notaries, you name it, right? So it moves the economy along. So if they're basically saying, hey, look it, if you buy something bigger, which moves the economy along, there's tax benefits to it. So the U.S. government wants
yeah, they're
1031
incentivizing that
exchanges.
part.
Yeah, exactly. They're incentivizing it. So that's why 1031s are a great thing. With that, because it helps the economy and then it helps create wealth for people as well. So in your case, they don't owe a loan, you said, right? Perfect.
No,
So they sell for 812, they buy for 812 or more. In this case, if they buy for 779, okay, that's cool. Um, Now we just got to figure out what's the best option for them. So is there a reason why they don't want a loan on their next property?
no, they're essentially retiring. They're selling off a couple of properties in Mexico, and they just don't want to kind of deal with it. Because I
Okay,
did
cool.
find them a 4 unit, but they they told me that they don't want a
Have a
loan.
loan.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. And some people are like that. Claudia and I, we have a client, and on Friday we're gonna go meet. They're gonna sell their property in Eastlake, probably for 900 or something. We're in the same scenario. They don't have a loan. They paid it off, and we're gonna take ballpark 850,000 of equity, and we're gonna put it as a down payment on a fourplex. That fourplex is gonna be, I don't know, 1.4 million, 1.5, 1.6. We haven't found it yet, but whatever it is, they're gonna take on a loan for the difference. So
yeah,
50% down basically. And then it's our job to run the numbers on that fourplex and say, hey, you're gonna get more rents on this property net um, than you are on your single family house right now net.
sure.
Because their single family house are renting it for whatever they're renting it 3,500 or they're under market for sure. But either way, we're going to show them, hey, look at now you're going to trade up from one house to four units. You can trade from one rent to four rents. You're going to trade from making appreciation 3.1% in San Diego on a $900,000 house to making 3.1% appreciation on a $1.5 million fourplex. So we're it's our job to present these options to them, right? So going back to this property, your how much are they making on the condo right now in rent?
They're probably netting around 2,900 or
Okay.
2,800.
So do you know their gross rent amount?
It's not more than 3,600.
Okay.
HOA is 700 plus the property management. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm
Yep.
guessing
Yeah. So let's look at it. So 3,600. This property right here says that they have the one bedroom rented for 2,100, which by the way, that sounds kind of high to me.
yeah.
Month to month, providing immediate rental income flexibility. Like for the condition that this property looks like it's in, it looks like it's high, but okay, we'll just go with that. So how much could a two bedroom rent for? Maybe, I don't know, 2,400 in my opinion at the most, plus 2,100. So they're looking at 4,500. So if you're looking at it from
A
like
two bedroom?
uh 2,400 for the two bedroom and plus 2,100 for the one bedroom. Yeah, how much you think I could rent for?
No, at least like 2,800. It's around that area.
City Heights? Because I know you said University Heights earlier. University or
Yeah, yeah.
University.
City Heights. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say so. Does anyone have opinions on these rents in City Heights? Does anyone have any rentals on these or been involved in any leases? City Heights off of Fairmont. Anybody? No? Okay. So Why don't we do this? 36. I'm typing in the address, San Diego, and let's see what's already for sale in here. Let's see if we could get some quotes. So right here saying the rent is 3,000, but since it's units, it's kind of funky. Um, let's see. Let me see here. So the one bedroom, 2,100. It's saying that the two bedroom is estimated at that. To me, it seems too high, but we could use whichever rents you want to go with. So if you do, um, and by the way, this is what you're supposed to do with the client is just kind of do all this research, right, and find out what it is. So 2,100 for the back. Oh, I know something that you could do is you could ask the agent, hey, what was the previous tenant paying? How much? And then from there, ask when they left and all that. And then there we go. I'm getting booted off again. Hold on a second. What was the address again?
Or no,
36.
3655 44th Street,
Cool.
3655 44th.
Thank
and
you.
I think Zillow had the old rents, Voltaire.
Did it?
I think so. I can check.
Let me see. Where should I go?
No, right there, like scroll where the price history. Um,
Oh yeah. No,
oh,
maybe they weren't rented through Zillow.
and let's
Um,
look.
yeah. So I don't know. I think oh, this is the wrong property. Let me see. Here we go. Let me see. Rent, price history, 2,200. So that's probably for the back one, I'm assuming. And then there's a 2,300. I don't know if both of them are rented or what, but 23. There's one listed for rent 2,500. So that might have been, you see how it was right here, 2,850, Jamal, and then they dropped it to 2,500. So it looks like they were shooting for that 3,000 and then they dropped it to 2,850 and then 2,850 and then 2,500. So I don't know which one of these units were the ones that they're trying to rent. But anyways, yeah, you kind of run the numbers. But anyways, let's just so we could for the sake of time, let's go through with this. And 2,100 for the back. Let's call it 2,500 for the front. So that's 4,600. So right off top with clients, I usually go, okay, look at right now you're getting 3,600 gross for your condo, but you could trade it and get 4,600. Plus, there's more security because now you have two rents instead of one rent. So if one tenant loses their job, you're not just going to end up with zero every month. And yeah, so it's 4,600 bucks a month in gross rents. Um, so far it looks better than the condo, right? Depending on the expenses of the property. And so so yeah, that's kind of it. They make more money if they trade it on a monthly basis. And then as far as building like an ADU, um, I personally, if you're not converting a garage and you're building that up, or you're building on top of this, is that what you want?
On top of that, I believe.
Yeah, on
'Cause,
top of that.
yeah, because I don't think we have the photos of the back unit, but I walked it through the alley, and it
Hmm.
looks like a a pretty newer building, but I don't know if they've been retrofitted or anything like that. So it might not be possible. It's just with a flat roof and everything. I saw the opportunity.
And do you know how much they're gonna, how much money they have extra in cash to like pay for ADU?
They should have at least. I ran the numbers on a 500 unit, studio apartment or something like that, where that probably is what you can put on there at 300 square, $300 a square foot. So that's 150,000. They should be able to have that
Okay,
once
cool.
they sell their units.
Got it. Um, so I just ran a quick price per square foot. So to buy this at this price, it's 729 bucks a square foot. So the units are small. That's something to kind of, make sure that that's okay. Um, so it seems a little bit overpriced to me, but just because the units are small. It's
Uh,
1,029 between both units according to the tax record, which you could confirm. Now, going back to what I would do is I would just go into here real quick. By the way, what I would do is I would convince the client to see if they could just take a $200,000 loan, not a big deal. But anyways, I would say 3 units. I would look for 3 units under a million and see if it's cheaper just to buy 3 units in San Diego. Um, f for under a million as opposed to buying and then building a third ADU. Let me see here. See what we got. And, or sorry, 3, 4 million bucks. Does anything pop up? 4. I don't know. I would look at these two and see if it makes sense. Let me see here. Keen Tord. So this is Chula Vista 950. So I would look at these and see if it's cheaper. Um, this one on Palm Avenue, 875 for 3 units. All one bedrooms. I don't really like that, but they look clean. 875, 3 units, 3 rents. Doesn't just has projections on the rents, and even if they are like 1,800 bucks each, that's 5,400 bucks a month for 3 units. So that's still better than their condo, right? So I would look at something like this
yeah,
personally instead of building an ADU. I would just buy, unless it was a garage conversion. If it's a garage conversion, then it's a lot easier. See me, Spico? But if you're building
yeah,
ground up, that's kind of tough or above a second unit. So look at this one, $1 million for 3 units that seem to be remodeled. Um, and so basically it's the same setup. It's a 1 bedroom and a 2 bedroom, and then it has that extra 1 bedroom. And it's in the same pocket, City Heights.
yeah. See that? Yeah,
So would it make sense to spend an extra 200 grand for an extra unit without having to build it and go through all that? Maybe, if you could get the same rents, like, so if you base the numbers on the same rents, which again, in my opinion, they seem high, but 2,100 times 2 units, they're at 4,200 plus the third unit, the 2 bedroom is 2,500, is 6,700 bucks. So now you're talking about 6,700 bucks a month. That's almost getting close to double whatever they're receiving right now,
yeah,
and all they have to do is take on a little bit of debt, you know, 200,000 in debt if they buy it for a million, a little bit over 200. Like it's not going to kill them.
yeah.
And then
I
this
see. I
one,
see.
yeah, and then this one, I've liked this
Wow.
one for a long time, but at a lower price. Yeah, but they don't want to budge. It's been on the market for like almost 2 years. 3 units for 895, and they're all 3 bedroom, 1 baths. But it's like on that street where all the homeless people live in downtown. Um, but it's getting 6,000 a month, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I think long term, if they fix the homeless situation, then who knows? All right. Um,
What do you want? What do you want to buy it for?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wrote them an offer like 2 years ago, a year ago, and then they just keep dropping the price little by little, 5 grand at a time. Um, okay, so I would just do that. I would have that conversation with the client. And then
Okay.
I know that let me see, Mark's on here. You have a question about a listing. So tell me where you're at in the listing process, Mark, and I'll walk you through
Give,
it. Yeah, of course.
So my ex-girlfriend, she wants to sell her condo,
Okay,
and she's
cool.
like, "Let's do it." But right now, I still have to get the price for it. We were doing comps yesterday, but we got a little deterred because she's going through a lot of headaches with her
Hmm.
old realtor that scammed her out of two properties right now.
Hmm.
That's why she's switching over to us. So I gotta get the price, and we also gotta double
Cool.
check on her contract with the last broker that's fully completed and ended. And yeah, she
Got
wants you
it.
to list it right away and buy another property and invest with us.
Okay, perfect. What's the address?
The address is 8479 Westmore Drive,
West.
8479 Westmore Road, apartment 55.
Cool. Westmore Road and apartment 55. So I'm gonna run quick comps for you
Thank
to
you.
get an idea. And then, yeah, whenever you take on a listing from someone who already had signed with someone else, you always want to check on. So is this her right here? JD Events
Yes.
LLC? Perfect.
Yeah, we
All
used
right.
to do wedding together.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna do this right here. I'm just gonna copy this address, and then I'm gonna go down here and see if it's ever been listed. So that's a good sign. That means that if she signed something as far as a listing, it didn't get like um actually listed on the MLS, so that's good. And then the other thing here I'm noticing is, there's
It
some,
was actually listed and then it was pending, and that realtor was doing so much stuff. She's trying to take it from underneath her. So it's a long story.
yeah, yeah, and that's good to know because that might be the reason why it's been like in some type of foreclosure history or some type of court actions, right? All right, so now let me go back here and I'm gonna type this in real quick. And by the way, we might go over the call a little bit, a couple minutes, guys. So if you guys got to hop off, I get it, but I'm gonna run some comps. So if you guys want to learn how to get comps, check it out. Okay. So here it is. Yeah, you're right. Actually, so on the tax record, it shows it was never listed, but on the MLS, it shows it's pending in escrow.
But
So
yesterday she contacted the broker and supposed to take it off, and she still hasn't done it. It's been like a
yeah,
week now.
yeah. So what I would do is definitely get the cancellation in writing before start, because once you start talking to someone, let's say that's working with an agent, and then it could get kind of tricky, especially if the agent says, "Hey, like you saw, I had an active listing, and you're still talking to my client. You saw it on the MLS or whatever." So, anyways, whenever this is for future stuff for everybody, whenever someone calls you says, "Hey, we want to list with you," um, and if it's listed on the MLS, you got to respect that relationship with the agent. So you got to tell the client, hey, you got to cancel with your person first and give me, proof that you canceled and that the agent canceled. That way we can move forward. Okay. So next thing I'm looking at the tax records. It's a 2-2, 866 square feet. So I already went half a mile radius around that property, which is what you want to do. And I'm doing 2 bedroom, 2 baths minimums, and I have 14. So typically I'd like to put in the square footage maximum. So in this case, I'm just gonna do 1,100 square feet max. So there's 14 units, and then I might as well do something low on the low end. So 650 square feet on the low end. There's still 14 units. So they might all be in the same complex. We're about to find out. Um, so Westmore, there's some on New Salem, Summerdale. And here are the comps, right? So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Google Maps, and I'm just going to make sure that they're all pretty close to each other, and they are. Um, Whenever you do comps, if it's on one side of this street or one side of this street, it could be a completely different pocket, right? So we always got to make sure that if we don't know the area, like this area I'm not that familiar with, so I just want to make sure it's not on like one side or the other of a major street, which in this case, I think we're safe. Um, Westmore is number one. So let me look for number one just so I could locate the complex itself. So it might be here. Okay. So number one and number six are in the same complex. So those are like two comps that we could like easily track. And then it looks like I'm looking at the map, and it looks like these are kind of the same. You see how the layout is the same, like these two. This one
Yeah, they're about
a
the
little bit
same.
a little bit different layout. I don't know. We'll find out soon. But so what I'm going to start to do on my left side of my screen, I'm going to start to check off the boxes on what I see. So 11, let me see, 2, number 11 is also right there in that little pocket. 3 and 8. So I'm checking off these. And then number 9. So I'm trying to pick like the ones that are like, so these I'm not gonna check them off yet, right? They're like Summerdale Way. It's like a different type of name. That's the other thing is like, right here it's the community might be all the same. Okay, cool. So I should have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 checked off. And over here I'm gonna count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. So I'm gonna hit checked, and there we go. And then, by the way, I'm just going to click all real quick just to make sure I didn't miss any. Yeah, this one, New Salem. And New Salem. So anything but New Salem, I'm keeping because it might be in the same. Okay. And then I'm looking at the year built, 83, 84, 85. So they're all basically similar comps. And then the last thing is I'm just going to look at the quick photos. So this one's remodeled for 572 and they dropped it to 521. And is this the complex? Do you know?
No, there's another one across the street.
Okay. But it looks like it. Like this is like the same community,
Yeah,
I
pretty
guess.
much. Yeah, you could
Yeah.
say so.
So is her complex called Vias at Westmore?
I don't recall.
Oh, actually, let me go into the active listings because we have it, I mean, pending. Vias at Westmore. Yep, that's it. So it's the same. Oh yeah, I forgot we had photos over here. So let me just take a look at her complex right now. Vacant, a little cleanup, missing.
She
So
has
as a
new
listing
appliances
agent,
in there, so it has older there's older pictures, but she has new appliances in there as well.
okay, cool. And I would just tell her if I take that listing, I would just tell her to, put some new lighting in there because that lighting's old, basically. It goes a long way. So
And the
doesn't
bathrooms are
cost that
redone as
much.
well. And then I think there's a leak though on the living room right side from the tenant
Got it.
upstairs, so she has to have a problem with.
Got it. So right off top, the price is kind of weird, right? Because it was 625, 615. The first comp says 521. So it's like, okay, is it? So I think she's asking for way more than what it's worth. The next one is 549 active, 529, and then pending, we have 599. This one really isn't pending. Then we have this one for 570, 565, but these are New Salem. So New Salem might be a different pocket, you know. So this is one of those properties, Mark, where you might have to like actually drive by, and really
I got
look
the
at in
key and
person.
everything. She lets me in. Yeah, she's
But
cool.
but like compare these New
I look at the
Salem
other
ones.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like why are they so much cheaper? And why does she want so much more? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a step further. I'm gonna go 18 months back and I'm gonna only choose the ones on the same street. Okay. Um, so here we go. Westmore, 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 uh, Westmore, Westmore. So I'm choosing all the Westmores to see if Westmore is more expensive than New Salem. Does that make sense?
Right.
Because she listed it for 625, and I'm like, okay, what's up? So yeah, look at so she might be looking at this comp that sold for 660 a year and a half ago. She but then there's a 558 comp and a 555. So I think it almost seems like the price is too high. And this is like a little light remodel. Um, clean. Yeah, you remodel kitchen, flooring, lighting, has everything. So it's clean. But that one sold for 660, but that was a year and a half ago. Um, the next, which, prices change, right? This one sold, but this one wasn't even really, it was sold off market. So that one sold for 558 off market. So that's not the greatest comp. And then you have this one sold a year ago for 555. This is a good comp, popcorn ceiling, not remodeled. So maybe she thinks because hers is remodeled, it might be worth more, which maybe it is. But what I would do, Mark, is your next step is drive by the complex of New Salem and just see how those compare to this complex, and make sure that we're like comparing apples to apples. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
And then after that, you get the copy of the cancellation. Once you get the copy of the cancellation, then you could go ahead and list it. Um, but by the way, look at this active comp. I would call this guy Jorge and say, hey Jorge, how come you haven't sold it? Looks like a great property. It's on Westmore. It's active. Like, what's going on? And just make sure that you got the right price. So I think from looking at this active, I would say hers is worth somewhere in that range, 550 range, like the rest of them. But confirm that with by driving the other properties. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. Good luck. See you guys.